Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the call. Mr. Abiodun, it's good to see you. Welcome, David. Welcome, Okala. Thank you for joining the call today. Welcome, Henry. Please let me see some emojis. Let's know we are active in the chat box. Let me see some emojis. Please drop an emoji if you can hear me well. Drop an emoji if you can hear me well. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Let's keep them coming. Let's make the chat box lively. It's the new year, and with the new year came some tax implications, which we are going to be delving in deeper in this call. But before we go ahead, let's just give 2 to 3 minutes for other participants to join in. Thank you all. While we are waiting in the chat box, you can drop a comment. Drop ready if you're ready. Drop ready in the chat box. Let the chat box come alive. Let's be active. We're all here to learn. If you're ready to learn today, drop ready in the chat box. Lovely, lovely. Please keep the responses coming in. Ready. Bukola says she's ready. Daniela is ready. I'm seeing, yes, ready to learn. Very beautiful. Ready to learn. I'm equally excited to be here today. So we'll officially commence this call by 8:05. Let's just give a little while for others to join. Please ensure you have your notebooks and pens ready. We did not come to look at each other, we came to learn. So make sure you have your notepad by your side and your pen ready. And you're ready to take notes, because trust me, this is going to be a very, very impactful session.
So we need to write, right?
Loaded. Please come again. We are going to write. Did someone say we are going to write?
Yes, I'm just asking, like, we are going to write, as you said.
Yes, definitely. Please.
Okay,
you won't get this anywhere. So you need to take notes that you can refer to later. Yes, we are all here to learn. So for those that just newly joined, welcome to the webinar once again. We'll be officially kicking off by 8:05. We're just creating some room for others that have not yet joined the call to do so. Well, welcome to the webinar. This is one of the best decisions that you're going to make in your 2026, and we are so glad to have you here. My name is Quenta Nietzsche, and I'll be facilitating this session titled Staying Ahead of Nigeria's Tax Changes. What every SME and income earner must understand about Nigeria's new tax reforms, effective January 2026. So yes, if you are ready, keep the comments coming in. Let us know you're ready, you're pumped up. And like I said before, have your notebooks and your pen by your side. Note that this meeting is being recorded as well. 1 minute left for us to start. Invite your friends, invite your family members. This is valuable information. You don't want to miss this for anything. Invite your friends, your family members, your colleagues at work. Enough with the informal tax debates. Come and hear it hot, coming hot from our seasoned consultants, and know what to do. Like I've already mentioned, make sure you have your notepads and your pen ready, because this session is packed and you are going to learn a lot. Welcome to the call, Gloria. I'm seeing a barrister on the call. You're very much welcome as well. Welcome Njoku from River State, Tukuni, welcome, Paul, welcome, Madeline, welcome, Samuel, you are welcome. So it's 8:05, and this session can officially commence. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our session. So the title of this session today is Staying Ahead of Nigeria's Tax Changes, what every SME and income learner must understand about Nigeria's new tax reforms effective January 2026. You're going to learn what's changing in the Nigeria's tax system from January 2026, who is affected and how, common blind spots that catch people off guard, how to prepare ahead of time, not in a rush, record keeping and reporting basics that matter most, how to think about taxes as part of business planning. So this call is packed, and like I said, if you didn't hear before, please make sure you have your notepads and your books ready. Our speaker has a wealth of knowledge that she's going to be sharing here today.
Of Nigeria,
so be rest assured that you're going to gain a lot. So without further ado, let me make welcome our speaker for the day, Mrs. Victoria Okokon. Please let's send some clapping emojis while I share her introduction on my screen. Please keep the emojis coming in. Keep it coming in.
Victoria Okokon.
Please confirm if you can see my screen. If you can see my screen, drop an emoji. If you can see my screen, drop an emoji or let me know in the chat box that you can see my screen. Okay.
Victoria Okokon, FCA. Victoria Okokon, FCA, FC.
Victoria Okokon, FCA. FCTI is a chartered tax practitioner and chartered accountant with over 2 decades of experience across banking, audit, training, and tax consulting. She is the managing partner of VON Management Consult and a faculty member at DIATRAIN, a Direct and Indirect Taxation Training Institute, where she supports businesses and professionals with tax advisory and compliance. Victoria served as chairman of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN, Port Harcourt and District Society from 2023 to 2025, and now serves as immediate past chairman. Under her leadership, the district emerged as a recognized subnational thought leadership hub on taxation, hosting the landmark 2025 District Tax Conference on Nigeria's tax reforms. She is also the author of the Nigerian Taxation Workbook, a practical guide that simplifies Nigeria's new tax laws for professionals and business owners. Join us as Victoria Okokon breaks down the 2026 tax reforms with clarity and insight.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the call Mrs. Victoria Okokon. Round of applause.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. And thank you so much for being here. I hope I'm being heard loud and clear. Let me know if you're hearing me loud and clear. Awesome, awesome.
Yes, well, we can hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you will not record this. All right. I'm so glad that you're hearing me, and I'm so glad to see almost 30 persons already on call. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for believing in yourself. Thank you for taking charge of your financial future, because this is what it means. Tax is your money that is being given to the government. And so it's so important that you are aware of what is happening to it and how it leaves you, and ensure that it is what you want to leave you that should leave you. Thank you. So, but before we go into anything, I want to know who and who is on the call. It's really, really important so that I'm sure that I'm serving you. That is my intention, okay? I wrote this book, the Nigerian Taxation Workbook, principally to serve individual taxpayers, SMEs, and professionals, okay? And that is why I'm also hosting this session. So I would like to know exactly who is joining me. So let's see. I need to know your name, your profession or what you do. Simple. I'm a business owner, or I'm a student, or I'm an employee, or whatever. I want to know your name and where you're joining me from. Those three parameters are really, really important. Please let me know. Quickly, I'll be looking at the chat to see your introductions. Your name, where you're joining. Oh, Olubukola Omonigun, accountant, Port Harcourt. Thank you, Bukola. Thank you for joining us. Henry, you didn't tell me who you are. Please let me know. I would like to know. Okay, Henry, I suspect. See, by the way, guys, we have some very senior persons here. I know you already. Conita from Port Harcourt, accountant. Thank you very much for being here. Businessman, Lagos. Okay, good, from Lagos. Henry is from Lagos. Magdalene is from Ogun State. Wonderful. A business owner. This is wonderful. Ekwelem Kiruka Mweke Sodiq Bello. Thank you so much. I'm so proud to see each and every one. Business owner Abiokuta Sodiq Bello. Okay, beautiful. So important. I'm really glad to have each and every one of you here. And one thing is clear, okay? You have taken charge. I can see professionals. I can see people who are just trying to understand the tax law. And I'm really proud of you. This is so important. Before, from the registrations that we saw coming in, the reason why we made those registrations was so that we could see who is coming in, who we want to talk to. And we saw a lot. We saw the caliber of people that were coming in. We saw people who were interested in knowing what taxes are. And then we gave a questionnaire. And that questionnaire, I really love the way you guys filled it. People filled and then spoke their mind. They ticked the options that we gave, and then they went ahead to also profile in writing what they really wanted to know. And from what we got a lot of people who said, okay, let me look at what they said. They said they want to know what, some people didn't even know what tax is all about, okay? They wanted to know what is tax about. They wanted to know, they asked some questions and all of that. There's so many things that they wanted to know, and we took notes, and I made sure that I incorporated most of them into the slides that we're going to be sharing today. So that's really important. Thank you so much for being here. I know you have heard already an introduction from the beginning of this program, but let me go ahead and also tell you a little bit about my experience and then some of the things that I have done. Okay, wonderful. So one of the key things, I am a finance professional, and that's given, okay? And I started this journey way more than 20 years ago. I started first in banking. I spent over 10 years in banking. That was what happened. I was the head of a directorate. The directorate was an area that I was covering Lagos and the Western states. And I was in charge of performance management of branches. So I've been in this line for a while. Thereafter, I went into core consulting in audit. Okay, audit, financial audits. I went to do financial audits and all of that. Then, of course, it's a natural progression. I now went into tax audits and consulting. And I really fell in love with tax audits and consulting. And why I fell in love with tax audit, because I saw that I could make a difference. Okay, I saw a lot of challenges that people are going through. People are going through, tax issues are something else entirely, and people were not finding it funny. And I could see that I could do something about it. And one of the key things I saw was the fact that they had issues with, the reason why most people had issues was not because, okay, they didn't want to pay, but because one, they were annoyed at the system, the way the system is, that the system could not account for what they were paying. That was on one side. And on the other side, the rules were not clear. And then a lot of touting and all of it, that's in the system. And then a lot of challenges in the system, not really because they didn't want to pay, so in order to protect themselves, they had to find ways to survive. And that is what has been happening. But fortunately, we now have the new law, and we are going to be looking at it and all of that. What I saw in practice were clients who were paying too much, or clients who got into trouble, basically because they did not understand their left from their right. So that is the thing. And in tax consulting in particular, I've been doing it for the past 8 years. Okay, so that's, and I've seen all kinds of scenarios that I'll be pointing out as we go on. So that's where, so this is the kind of impact I want to do. The kind of impacts I want to have on you today is the kind of impacts I've had with my clients, where when you finish solving a situation and then you tell them, okay, this is what you do next time. This is what you do. Next, this is what you do. When next you get a letter, don't keep quiet. Send, this is how you reply. There are ways to do these things. This is how you reply. Because if you don't reply on time, even just to reply a letter on time can make a tax final and conclusive, period. And when it becomes final and conclusive, even if the tax authority bills you outrageously, you have to pay because you did not respond, you did not take action. So there are rules for the game. And so if you don't know it, then there's a challenge. So these are the things we need to know, we begin to know right away. So what are we doing tonight? So now that I've laid that foundation, let me go ahead and share my slides, and then we can go into the key, the real matter and all that. So share. Okay. Just a second. I want you to fill up the screen. Beautiful. All right. So what are we going to be looking at today? We're going to be staying ahead of the Nigerian tax changes. We're going to be staying ahead of the Nigerian tax changes. You need to be a step ahead for you to thrive. You need to be a step ahead. So what every SME owner, income earner must understand about Nigeria's new tax law. Let's go. Uh-oh, it's still coming up the way. Okay. So why are we here today? Why are we here? All right. Because tax confusion is expensive, guys. It is expensive. Most problems that I've seen in tax don't really start because you wanted to do something wrong. No, it usually starts because you don't understand the laws, or you don't understand something, or because of ignorance. Okay, so this is so important. These things we need to fix it, and we're going to fix as much of it as possible in this call. How are we going to go about it? For you to do that, first of all, you need to know what is tax really about. What is tax really about? We've been seeing a lot of viral posts here and there. Tax is not about money going in and out of your account. No. That's not what it is about. Tax is not what your money is meant for. That's not what tax is. What then is tax? Tax is a compulsory payment by individuals, organizations, businesses, and all of that to the governments based on income and residence. You know, there are a lot of parameters that tax is based on. And then it's based on your income. And that income, you are the one to declare it. And it is backed up by law. So every time I love to say that tax is law. So if you're not dealing with tax as if it's law, and we know what we say about that, we say ignorance of the law is no excuse. So tax is law. So if you're ignorant of taxes, that's why penalties always hit us very hard, because the fact that you did not know is not tenable. That's exactly, so if you know, it's backed by our constitution. Section 24 of our constitution says every citizen must declare their income and pay taxes thereon. So it's so clear. So if you don't know this, and there's no need fighting the government. Oh, they are not fixing roads, they are not doing this. What you should do instead is find out how you can protect yourself as much as possible by understanding the law that is backing the taxes that you should be paying. That's where, yes, we'll still pursue our governments. We'll still try to make sure that things are done right. We'll still try to make sure that we wipe off corruption. But in the interim, look out for yourself. This is so important. Look out for yourself. So what has changed with this new tax law? What has changed? Okay, what has changed is the fact that we no longer have a hiding place. Tax has evolved over the time. Some of us think the changes that we are seeing actually started with the tax reform. No, it did not. It started way back 2020. That was the time when we were told to do BVN. That was the time when thereafter we did NIN. Thereafter they said we should link them up. Thereafter we did all sorts of things. So these things were being built up. And then finally, the tax administration is leveraging on all of this matter, all of these things that have been built up and kept, put in place. So there is no hiding place. That is what has happened. There is now enforcement that no matter what you want to do, before now we could hide, before now we could do lots of things. But now, none of those things are possible because we have evolved over time and sealed up most of the loopholes that we were utilizing before now. So tax authorities will assess your behavior. We've been seeing all kinds of viral posts about your transactions, narrations, and what have you. No, it is about the pattern. What is it? What are you doing? Now, the system we have now is a smart system. It's AI backed. So it will just pull up, we all leave digital footprints, right? And digital footprints never die. They are there. Somebody can go and dig them. Even when you delete them from your device, it's still out there. So the AI will dig up everything that about you. Dig up where you spent money. Dig up where you you bought XYZ. Dig it all up. Dig up where you did a POS. Dig it all up. Tie them all up. And then give a report. And then we'll now see whether the tax that you're paying vis-a-vis what you have been spending. You say you don't have money, right? Okay, so how about all of this? So that is what has happened. Things have changed. So our behaviors and what have you is what is happening. We now have better data, better tracking, better coordination, better risk-based enforcement, a smarter tax administration. So that is what this tax administration is about. That's what this reform is about. It's about ensuring that the right people pay the right taxes. It's about reducing leakages. Before now, a lot of us, especially the people who have the money, they were not even paying taxes. You see that it's during election period that they run to get tax clearance. Some of us, it is when you want to travel or when you want tax clearance for your land business or something you're doing or a contract that you're doing with government. That is when you seek for tax clearance. So all of these things are being sealed up because the data already will reveal some of these things that are happening. So what are the instruments in force? What are these taxes? We've been hearing new tax law, new tax law, new tax law. We've been hearing all of it. So what is this new tax law? Simple. The key thing is there are 4 key laws that have come into force. I'm not going to bore you. That is why I didn't put their definitions there, because I'm going to explain them to you. We have the Nigerian Tax Act 2025, NTA for short. So the NTA is simply, before now, we had over 50 tax laws. 50, more than 50 tax laws. Capital Gains Tax Act, Company Income Tax Act, Personal Income Tax Act, all of them, different tax laws. But now this tax law has repealed all of them. None of them is existing as at today. So what the tax law, this new reform is saying, all of these things that were existing now, instead of 50-something taxes, let's have less than 10. So now we have 8. And all the 8 are in one volume. All of you can even go and pick it and read it little by little until you finish it, or read the parts that concerns you. Yes, I encourage you to do that. Okay, so this new tax act, you can download it at the Fiscal Committee website. This new tax act, forget about the ones that they are saying there are changes and all that. The changes don't affect you. There are some changes, yes, that they are trying to rectify, but it doesn't affect the substance of the law that has already, that's the bulk of the law. There are some sections that have been pinpointed. It doesn't affect the bulk of it. So don't let that make you slow down. Okay, so this is so the Nigerian Tax Act has all the new laws, all of the taxes that should be charged, 8 of them in one volume. So anybody can access it and read it for themselves. That's the Nigerian Tax Act. Then we have the Nigerian Tax Administration Act. Now we have laws. Just as the name says, Tax Administration Act. This law tells you how everything will be administered, how things will be done. This is where penalties are. This is where the Joint Revenue Board, not Joint Revenue Board, this is where guidelines on how to do things are. This is where what should states do, what should federal government do, what should local government do, this is where they are. If you're understanding me, I want to see some emojis, I want to be sure I'm not talking to myself. Let me see some emojis. If at any point you have questions, put them down on the chat. We're collecting them so that I can answer them. But in the interim, I want to see emojis to be sure I am not talking to myself. If I don't see reactions, I'm not continuing. All right, beautiful. I can see some emojis now. Beautiful. So beautiful, that means you're hearing me, you're understanding me. Good. So the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Act, that's another law. This one is changing the status quo of the FIRS that we knew, expanding their roles and putting the guidelines that they will be bound by. Then the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act. Don't be distracted. The Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act. If you can see my slide, you don't have a problem. The Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act. This one, formerly we had the Joint Tax Board. Now we have the Joint Revenue Board. Beautiful. So the Joint Revenue Board now has what we call, also established, they are in charge of harmonizing taxes. And I'm going to talk more about what they are doing right away. Another thing that is in the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act is the fact that they are establishing the Office of the Tax Ombuds, which the law says will be taking care of all the grievances of taxpayers. So you can call them up, speak in Yoruba, speak in English, speak in your language, Igbo, whatever, and then the tax ombud will take up your case with the tax revenue authorities. Then the fifth one that I have here on this list is not one of the 4 taxes. This one came into force in 2025. It was gazetted in 2024 and made to take effect in 2025 from January. Is the Withholding Tax Regulation 2024. This is an integral part of the law, and it's actually called Deduction at Source, Tax Regulation 2024. It simply means that your taxes that you have will be, instead of you're paying your taxes ahead, sometimes you do a business with a third party, a company usually, and instead of paying you your full money, they were supposed to pay you 100,000, they end up paying you, say 95,000. They withhold 5,000. That is what the withholding tax. So it's called deduction at source. That means they deducted your tax at source. You simply made an advance payment of your tax. It is not another type of tax. So when you're filing your taxes, what you simply do is you now call up that one that had been deducted and net it off so that you don't pay it twice. This is very, very important. So why I said I was going to talk about the Joint Revenue Board again. So let me say it right here so I don't forget later. One of the things the Joint Revenue Board has done they have come up with another law that will harmonize what is going on in the states and in the local governments. This is so, so important. Harmonize what is going on in the states and in the local governments. So what is happening is the fact that at the states and local governments, we know that we had a lot of laws, touts and all of that troubling us here and there. Now, the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Act is simply saying they have come up with the law already. The taxes and levies approved list for collection that was in place before now. Now, the taxes and levies, this one. The taxes and levies approved list for collection was repealed. Now they have put together another one. This one that they have put together will be domesticated at each state. Already some states have started domesticating it. Zamfara has domesticated, Kanu has passed it, Bayelsa has passed it, Anambra has passed it. You know, if your state has not yet passed it, they will. When they pass it, I can tell you right now what is contained in that law. In that law, we have, instead of local governments collecting 20-something taxes, local government will collect only 2 taxes. Instead of state government collecting more than 12 taxes, they will be collecting 6 taxes, and personal income tax is one of them. Then property tax, the local government will not collect separate, the state government will not collect separate. They have to come together, harmonize. That is the work of the Joint Revenue Board, to ensure that the local governments and the state governments harmonize and work together and don't overtax the people. So if you think this law is good, I want to see some emojis, because I'm here to debunk some of the things that we have been hearing, all of the conspiracy theory all over the place. It is better than where we are coming from. That is the crux of the matter. It is better than whether you like the government of the day or not. That is not the issue. I am thinking of myself, and I'm also thinking of what benefits us as the masses. So this is way better than where we're coming from. So the tax system has been reset to close the gaps. We now have clearer definitions, broader coverage, stricter accountability. That's the key issue. This stricter accountability is where some of us are going to fall short if we don't seek knowledge, if we don't understand what is happening all over the place. If you don't understand, then we have that challenge. So because there's stricter coverage, there are no new taxes. Instead, there are clearer rules and there are more stringent rules. It is more expensive now to default, not to know what to do, than it was before. So that's the very thing that is very, very important. The major shift that we have is there's less informality. Informality is no longer tolerated. A lot of times, people were running to be in the informal sector before now. Now, if you go there, it doesn't matter. Your operations are still open for everybody to see. There's more structure. People are now visible. I have already spoken about that. Even without doing anything wrong, because you're visible, your transactions are visible, what you're doing day to day are visible. There's a lot to lose if you don't know what to do. Of course, people who are doing advisory roles, we now have to take an indemnity insurance so that if we happen to advise you and we did not advise you properly, we become liable. So it's so critical. So we are not even enough to go around the population. We have over 50 million Nigerians, and we're not even up to 2 million. So how many can serve you? So I believe it is better for each and every taxpayer to understand their left from their rights. And that is why the tax law is also trying to be deliberately simple. They are also going to come out with more guidelines to make the things very, very simple. for you to be able to file by yourself, do things by yourself. But if you don't learn those things, then whose fault? If you're ignorant about those things, then whose fault? So these are the things that we need to do. So tax 101, what's in the slide is because from the feedback forms that we got, we had a lot of you saying, well, what is this tax self? You people should leave me alone. You know, all kinds of things. You don't even understand what this tax is all about. I hope you, those of you that were here earlier, you understand what tax is about by now. So now, hereafter, so there are some basic, the two critical taxes, a few taxes that I really, really need you to understand, even if you don't know all the others. Thank God there are no longer many. One, there are two broad categories of taxes. We have what we call the transactional taxes, and then we have what we call the income-based taxes. Transactional taxes are things like VAT. If you like, don't earn any income, but so far you go and carry out that transaction, then you are liable to pay that tax. If you decide today that I want to go and buy a car, there will be VAT on the car. That is a transactional tax. You incur it because you went to do that transaction that is vatable. So everybody is subject to it if you go out to do that transaction. And there are the income-based taxes. That one is based on your income. As a company, it's based on your profits. As an individual, it's based on your salary, or maybe your business income, or maybe your investment income, and all of that. That is income-based taxes. Now, it is these income-based taxes that the tax law has clearly shifted the way it operates to make sure that it exempts those who earn less and make sure that people who earn more pay more. That is exactly what the tax law has done. If you earn more, you pay more. If you earn less, you may pay zero, or you pay a little of that. We'll look more into it as we go on. So tax on your profit or salary and all of that. So now we understand it. That's tax 101. Now you understand what tax is all about, and you understand which one, depending on who you are, you understand which one affects you. So why should you pay close attention? If you're a business and you don't keep records at all, or you don't keep proper records, then you should be worried. Because that means you will not be able to account for your income properly, to be able to ensure that you pay what you're supposed to pay. You will end up paying more. Because if you don't have a record, the tax authority may now give you what they call a BOJ, a best of judgment. They'll just assume, okay, this shop is very full. Okay, this person must be making a lot of money. Why? Because you don't have records to back up what you have on stock, what is your expense, what's your owing, and all of that. So you cost it. So people who are operating informally, if you're operating in the digital space, your cryptocurrency, you're not exempted. Keep your records. You too, you can keep your income and your expenditure, and you'll be able to pay exactly only what you ought to be paying. If you're a Nigerian abroad, if you're in the diaspora, I expect some of you should be on this call. If you're in the diaspora, but you have an apartment complex, for instance, you have a house where there are tenants, you have a business that your parents and your siblings are running for you, you are earning income in Nigeria, you should pay tax to Nigeria. It's simple and short. When you earn your income or where you live, that is what tax is based on. I hope you're understanding. If you're understanding that, I need to see some emojis. If you're understanding how it affects you, I need to see some emojis, please. When I say that, I will wait until I see those emojis, because that tells me that you understand. Awesome. So SMEs, who else is affected? Individuals, every one of us who earns an income. If you're a freelancer, a consultant, an SME, a business owner, you're a trader, a retailer, WhatsApp status, any income. So if you live in Nigeria and you earn income in Nigeria, or if you just living in Nigeria, being resident in Nigeria alone, you're liable to tax in Nigeria. Okay, if you're not living in Nigeria, but you earn income in Nigeria, you're liable to tax in Nigeria. So that is what. So now that I've answered that question, because I had a lot of that question. How does it affect me? I'm a business owner. I sell petty things. I'm this. I'm just an employee. Now you know. So let's look at some common blind spots. I'll just breeze through some of these things. Okay. Some of you are employees, and because you know that your employer should pay your tax, should deduct your tax and pay, you relax, you go to sleep. No. I've gone to clients where they are deducting from the salaries of their employees, but they did not pay to any government. They did not pay to any government. So don't sit back and say, okay, my employer is deducting, so therefore I'm paying taxes. No, confirm. So if you're an employee, but you sell on your WhatsApp status, you do some other hustles, then the tax law requires, this new regime requires that you should also file. I'll explain what filing is soon. So maybe I'll just explain it at once, and I'll keep referring to it as we go on. Filing simply means that at the end of the year, you would tell the tax authority, for last year, this was my total income. This was my total expenses. This was the taxes I paid already, or that was deducted already. Therefore, this is the remaining taxes. Or maybe there is nothing remaining. If there's something remaining, you pay. If there's nothing remaining, you just tell them, this is the situation, this is the situation. Simple though. Usually filing, there is no money involved. You're just telling them what transpired, how you account for what transpired in the previous year. If you're an employer, you just also do the same for your employees. All those employee taxes that you were deducting and remitting to the government. This January now, or before 31st of this January, what do? You prepare a schedule, and then you say, oh, I had 3 employees. These were their taxes, January, February, March to December. And these were the remittance receipts that I made. You just do that schedule and go and submit it, file it online. Most of the tax authorities have an online portal where you just submit it. If they don't have in your state, you go and submit it in their office. That is filing. Newsflash. If you don't do it, current liability, the current penalty is 500,000. For simply not putting those papers of something you have been filing, and you did not put it together. I have pleaded on behalf of clients over and over in the previous dispensation, where they say, oh, well, we did not know. So we tell the tax authority, please temper justice with mercy. Unfortunately, that system has gone. Then it was a manual system. There were individuals we could go and say that to. Now it is AI, is an automated system. The system will just be compiling the penalties against you. If you like, run into a hole and say they don't know you exist. The penalties will just be piling up for you. So that is what filing is. So if you have a side income, you're into consulting, rentals, whatever, any kind of thing you're doing, any kind of business you're doing, you're also supposed to, you're supposed to pay your taxes, and once a year, you declare your income for the year before and pay that taxes, the tax accruing from that, whatever you were doing. And that is due on or before the 31st of March every year. Now, that is for filing and paying taxes for businesses or small business owners. That is what you do. So if you do that, that is very, very important. That is what you do as a small business owner. Come around. Okay, so that is what you do. But it doesn't mean if you have staggered income, you should pay instrumentally, the tax authority, the tax laws provide for instrumental payments. So you pay instrumentally. It's so important. Don't wait, especially if your income, you don't know if don't wait. Just pay whenever you have money. And then at the end of the year, you reconcile, and then you know whether you have a credit or you have something left to balance. So that is what it is. So you are responsible for filing if you have income more than, if you're an employee and you have other income apart from your salary. So check your payslip. Was tax deducted? Yes. Do you have side income? If it is yes, then you need to file for yourself on or before 31st of March. In this call, I am going to quickly do a payee computation, but I've developed a framework because there is no how. I've told you that the tax law is more than 1,000 pages in size. There is no how I can cover everything that is covered in that law. I'll try as much as possible to do a small calculation before we go in this call. But I've developed a framework where I'm expecting that those who join and take advantage of that framework would be able to go down deep and be able to explain further and guide them going through both the filing process, how to compute, and how to stay and ensure that they optimize their taxes. So what is the next blind spot? I'm too small to be noticed. Please, this one is very, very important. Right now, the tax law, the new tax law has started. This January, it has started. From January to December, if you understand what I have said so far, you will now understand that you are going to be paying, you're going to be accounting for these taxes by next year. By next year, January 31st, you're supposed to account for all the taxes you pay for your employees if you're a business owner. By next year, on or before 31st of March, 2027, you're going to account for the taxes you are going to file as an individual business owner or consultant or whatever, professional, whatever, SME owner. You're now going to do your own. So what I am teaching you now is to ensure that starting this January, you begin to do the right thing. So that when that time comes, you will not be one of those running helter-skelter. So don't think no tax man who is going to come and fish you to your house. I have seen so many posts. They will come and drag you out of your house. They will stop you on the road. This and that and that. No, nobody's doing that. How many are they? How many are we? So nobody's going to do that. They will close my bank account. No, none of those. They're not doing any of those. Before any tax authority has anything to do with your tax bank account, it has gone through the courts. They have sent you a notice. You have either responded or refused to respond. They have sent you another one, warning you. You have refused. They have now gone to the courts. They have told the judge, this taxpayer is recalcitrant. This taxpayer is owing us X amount. The judge will now put a judgment and say, go and do X, Y, Z. Go and seal up his company. Do, get your money from his bank account, and then they can go and freeze your bank account. They don't just wake up and do that. No, they don't. So take notes. Nobody is going to touch your bank account. But don't, because nobody is coming to talk to you, you refuse to do the right thing. Don't forget, we are all visible. All right. Again, the facts, everything is linked. We are visible. Your BVN, your NIN, your TIN, your account number, your phone number, they are all linked. I traveled from one state to the other recently, and I went to the state transport service of that state. And the only thing they asked me at the counter was, what is your phone number, madam? And I gave them my phone number. When I gave them my phone number, they printed out a receipt for me, and it was a new line that I had just registered. They printed out the receipts for me. It had all my details. If a state transport company can have that, what's more of a tax authority? All our details are linked. There is no hiding place. That nobody is coming to you is not an excuse for you to do the right thing. Good. I believe I am being understood. So the fact that they are silent is not an excuse. Again, very, very important. I said throughout this year, nobody is even going to talk to you. You're just supposed to do the right thing. Understand what you're supposed to do and begin to do them. So that when the time comes for you to file or to, do whatever you need to do, you do them seamlessly, no stress. So there's self-assessment now. Self-assessment simply means it is you. The tax authority is not coming to come and knock on your door. It is you that will carry your leg. It is you that will open up your phone or your laptop or a paper, whatever, and fill out what you have earned, the money you have, income you have earned. It is you that will calculate your expenses. It is you that will calculate your profits. It is you that will now put them all together and calculate your taxes. It is you that will now go and pay the taxes. It is you that will finally come and file and say, okay, for the year 2026, this was my total income, this was my total expenses, okay, this was the balance, okay, based on the tax table, okay, my rent is 200,000, you deduct it, okay, I have pension, you deduct it, I have life insurance, you deduct it. All those things I'm listening, they are called eligible deductions in the tax law. So you deduct all those eligible deductions. After you have deducted them, whatever is remaining, you now apply the tax table. We are going to see it very shortly. You now apply the tax table. When you apply this tax table, you now say first 800,000 of whatever is remaining. If what is remaining is not up to 800,000, that means it is zero. You're paying nothing because even the first 800,000 is at 0%. So you add it is at 0%. So it's zero, nothing. If it was zero at 800, then you still have money remaining, no problem. You now go to the next 2.2 million. Now that one now is at 15%. It is that one now, that 15% of whatever is remaining. Maybe you had 1 million remaining. Then you now first 800, you remove it, zero. That means 200,000 is remaining. The 200,000 is what you now do at 15%. That is your tax. That is what you now pay. That is what you now file the following year. You now prepare and file. The tax authority, they have promised us, this new tax law, they've promised us that it will be very, very easy. That we can even submit our returns, file our returns online, even with our phones. Because of all these distractions on two versions of the law, that is why we have not reached, they have not begun to give us some of those guidelines. So this is very, very, you're the one to assess your income. You're the one to do it. No tax authority man is coming after you. Okay, for those of us who are going to take advantage of the framework, I will hold you by hand to guide you through this process. This is so important. The system assumes that you will do this honestly, that you will declare your income honestly, that you will do it and then you will file accordingly. But the system also knows that you may not. And so therefore the system has put in place penalties. And guys, I can tell you for free, the penalties are not funny. I'm going to show you a table of some of the penalties soon. I'm not talking about it now, but just I'm only mentioning it so that you don't begin to think you can shortchange the system. Don't forget, everything is linked. Every time you spend your money on your card, every time you transfer money, every time you do this and that, it is not by the narration you put there. No. It is just tracking your activities, At the end, the AI will do an intelligent, understanding of what you're doing. Those that are recurrent, it will target that, okay, maybe this person is doing a business that they are paying the person, but your records is what you will now use to bail yourself out. Whether it was a business or whether, for whatever reason, that is why you need to keep records. to nobody. If you betray that trust that they are saying you should keep these records, you should file, you should declare your income and pay, you will still be fished out. Even if you're not fished out today, the tax authorities can audit you for the past 6 years. And if they audit for the past 6 years and see, they suspect that you were doing some hanky-panky, the tax authority has authority by law to go back as far back as they want. So my charge to you is this: determine to do the right thing, determine to learn the right thing and do it. That is it. I'll be guiding those ones who subscribe to the framework, the tax monitoring framework, to be able to optimize their taxes. So we have the real problem is record keeping. I've talked about this over and over again, so I don't think I need to overflog it. Most problems start from record keeping. They don't start with the law. They start with record keeping, because if you don't keep record, how then will you know the tax that you should pay or you shouldn't pay? Okay, you said, okay, it is my money, or I'll remember. You can't. For a whole year, no. You may not remember all your expenses, and if you don't remember all your expenses, that means you pay more, because your income will now be overstated. If you say, okay, I collected receipt from that POS, for that thing I bought, you forget that POS, they failed. Have you ever seen those receipts? You go back and check them a few weeks later, it is plain, it has wiped off. So don't do that to yourself. Don't. You cannot assess yourself properly if you don't have records. Very, very important. So what are the minimum records you must keep as an individual, as a business owner? The minimal records you should keep. Income. Where is your income coming from? What are you selling? Expense. Where are you spending money from? Where are you spending money on? Where? If you're a content creator, the camera, the data, the this, the dressing, they count. That is where you're spending your money, because that is what you're using to drive the income. That is what you're using to go and speak, do YouTube videos. The camera, the microphone, all of it counts. So what are you expending money on? Keep it. Then the deduction, the withholding taxes that were deducted. Maybe you did a transaction. Maybe you, since I'm talking about a content creator, maybe you did a brand deal. Okay, you represented a brand, and you agreed to pay you 2 million naira. But when they pay you 1 point something. They took withholding tax. Ask them for receipts. It is that receipt that you now use and go and process your credit notes. We call it the withholding tax credit notes. You use that receipt and go and process your credit notes. When you process this credit notes, when you're now filing your taxes, when you have arrived at the taxes that you're supposed to pay, you now apply the credit notes. You see? When you apply the credit notes, that tax that you are supposed to pay, it's either it will knock it off, or it may even put you in a credit. That means they are still owing you. You keep it. And keep using it to net off what you were supposed to pay. So this is very, very important. You just need to be able to keep your, this thing very, very distinct. Okay, very good. So VAT, do you need to charge it? Okay, I didn't mention because of my teaching that there are two types of companies. We have the enterprise and we have the limited liability companies. Beautiful. Now, the tax law has put something in place. The tax law says if you're a limited liability company and your turnover, which is your sales, is less than 100 million in a year, or your assets are your cars, cameras, those kind of things, those are your assets. Or your assets are less than 250 million naira and below, then you are a small company. That's what this tax law is saying. Don't forget I said limited liability company. Now, if you are a small company, the tax law is now saying But as a small company, you pay 0% tax. 0. Okay, I hope you get that. Now, if you're paying 0% tax, the tax law is also saying, since you're a small company, who is paying 0% tax, you are not to collect VAT from other people. Even if you pay VAT when you were buying your goods, you are not to charge anybody VAT. But if you choose to charge other people VAT because you paid, no wahala. You must, now it is you that is choosing to register to be charging VAT. VAT is simply, if you remember, we talked about it, it's a transactional tax. So VAT, for doing that, you are now saying, I want to be collecting, I want to be, when I go to buy, they charge me. So therefore, I have to charge them. And it is not your money. You're just an intermediary to send it to the government. So that's what it is. So if you're below, it is not your money. So that is very, very important. So keep it separate and remit it every month. So this is very important. So I've talked about all of this. I've talked about withholding tax. I've talked about payee. It's calculated monthly. And then we can, because time is fast spent, I told you already that we may not be able to finish all, even just my own slides alone. I pray I can go as far as possible. This is to show you how deep this thing is. And that is why I created a framework, a tax readiness and income retention framework. Why? People who subscribe to this, I'll now take my time with templates, with guidelines, with live sessions. We will work it out together using your own use case. Very, very important. Okay, so how do we now calculate tax? Let's do it together. First of all, let's look at the tax table. Okay, we're going to be looking at a quick case study very fast. I've already been saying a lot of what I'm going to be showing you now. This is the tax band. The first 800,000, 0%. The next 2.2, 15%. And the next at their various rates. But before you get to this point, there are what we call eligible deductions. Eligible deductions. These eligible deductions include your rent, 20% of rent paid. So maybe your rent is 1 million naira. What's 20% of 1 million naira? 200,000. And then the law also says subject to a maximum of 500,000. So even though your rent was 1 million naira, you can only claim, you can already your own 20% of 1 million is 200,000. Okay, if your rent was 10 million naira, that means 20% of 10 million is 2 million, Abi? Okay. But you can only claim 500,000 out of it. That's what the law says. So all of this, you can deduct it. These are eligible deductions. If you have a pension, if for those of you that are employees, if your salary is large, you can do a self, what's it called? You can voluntary contribution, so that your tax can come low. That is one tax hack I'm telling you right away. So there are things you can do to minimize your taxes without flouting the law. This is one of the things I'm going to dig deep as I guide some people through it. So all of the 4/10 of the following month, if you're an employer, you're supposed to, all the taxes you have deducted from your employees at the end of the month, you're supposed to now send it to the government, pay it to the government, to the state where you are. So let's do a quick calculation, very, very quick calculation. If your taxable income is 17 million, okay, 17 million in a year. So the first thing you do is less all the eligible deductions, which I have been singing since we started. If you have NHF, Nigeria National Housing Fund, you have NSITF, you have pension, you have life insurance, the premium that you paid. All of these things are called eligible deductions. You remove them first. You remove them. So in this illustration, I'm saying, assuming it was 2 million, you remove it. So 17 million minus that 2 million, you remove it. We have 15 million that is left. Okay? Out of the 15 million now, we now go take it to the tax table. The first 800,000 from that 15 million is zero at 0%. So therefore, is zero. The next 2.2 million is at 15%. 15% times 2.2 is 330,000. The next 12 million, don't forget we had 15 million. So if you see 800 plus 2.2, that's 3 million. Plus 12 million, that's 15 million. The next 12 million is at 18%. That gives you 2,160,000. So your total tax for someone who is earning 17 million is 2,490,000. Please, my team, if you're there, I need you to share the fiscal committee calculator. People can calculate their payee. There's a calculator that the fiscal committee has put together. All you need to do is put your income that you earn per annum, and you just see, without bugging your head on how to calculate this thing, you just see the taxes that you're supposed to pay. So please, let that be shared on the chat for them to use it to calculate for themselves. So the next taxable income will now be at 21%, at 23%. Assuming there was something left apart from 17 million, we'll now take the next one at 21%, at 23%, at 25%. If you look at this very well, you will see that the average poor person on the street cannot pay more taxes. They will likely pay zero. So don't follow viral things that are going on. Learn the facts. Okay? On this chart down, you can quickly snap it. It just gives you a guide of wherever your income is and the average deductions, the likely payee that you're going to pay. So the payee that has been calculated per annum, you now divide it by 12. So as an employer, that one that you have divided by 12, that amount, it becomes the monthly amount that you will now be remitting. You will now be deducting from their salary and paying to the government. Very, very key. So if you see from this table, you see that up to people who are earning 18 million, compared to the current dispensation, they'll be paying less tax. But beyond that, 30 million and above, they'll be paying more taxes. So you see that the system is ensuring that who earn more, pay more. That is what is called a progressive system. Those of you who will be in the tax readiness, the framework I've put together, those ones, we do it step by step together. Okay, this is very, very important. So, I didn't even know I put it on my slide. You can just scan this QR code right down, and you'll be able to calculate, put in your income, just scan it from the system, put in your income, and then you'll be able to calculate your tax right away. Then you divide it, and then you now know what you should be paying every month. And then you also scan the other QR code, then you can download the laws that you can begin to read and look for the part that concern you and read them. Digital income, I told you, I've spoken about it in the course that is also taxable, and I've told you what to do and how to do some of those things. If you're in the diaspora, I've also spoken to it. I said if you have a business, you have a property, you're earning income, you have tenants in it, you have a source of income going on in Nigeria. If you live in America, you live in UK, wherever you live, but you have income in Nigeria, you should pay tax in Nigeria. So also join us and get your tax identification number. Oh, and by the way, that reminds me, each and every one of us, we already have a tax ID. So I advise you to go and retrieve it. You're not going to get it. You're not going to apply for it. You're just going to retrieve it for you to know, for you to know. You already have it. It has already been tagged to your NIN. It's already there. All you need to do is go and get it. Please, team, put the link where they can go and generate their tax ID for themselves. For those of you who have not go and generate it right away. I know why I'm saying that. Somebody came to me last week and she paid 20,000 to generate tax ID. Something that is free to generate, something that is all over social media, something that is everywhere. Somebody went and paid, charged the person 20,000. That is the cost. I said tax is expensive. The ignorance is expensive. Ignorance of tax laws, tax, how it affects you is expensive. Tax will use your head because you don't understand some basic things. Imagine tax ID. You don't have your own, please generate yours right away. Generate it doesn't take anything. Just put your NIN, generate it, screenshot it, copy it, whatever, you have it from now. Beautiful. So do that. So to get your tax ID, you already have it. So why do people can be very careful and they still get shocked by tax issues? Why? Typical case, during the year, last year, somebody called me, as the chairman of CITN Port Harcourt and Business Society, my phone number is public, right there on the website of the CITN website. So anyone can pick it up and call and ask questions. And so this woman called me and she was shouting, "Ma, I just got a letter from FRS. Hey, they gave me a bill. They said I should come and pay 600 and something thousand." And I said, "Madam, calm down. What happened?" She said, I don't know. I was just there on my own. They now sent me this letter. I said, "Madam, whose name is on the letter? Is it your name?" Say yes. Okay. Is it to your name or your company? She said, questions upon questions. She said she did not know anything. So it took me 3 days to ask her question, go and find out. Finally, I found out it was sent even in her company name. I said, "Oh, but you not even tell me it was your company." She said, "It is a company I just registered though. I said, "So what happened?" "I don't know." I said, "But they got the address right. They got the company name right. So how did you go to their office?" "No." Are you seeing? This is the old dispensation though. What more of this AI dispensation? She did not. What happened in her own case? She took a loan. She wanted to take a loan from an online bank. And because she knew somebody, instead of giving her the small amount for somebody just starting like they were doing, they agreed to give her more than 5 million naira loan. Provided she used her company, if she had a registered company, she should use her company details to come and get the loan. She was so happy. So far, they want to give her the loan now. She was happy. She quickly used her company that she registered, though. She had not used, though. She used it to go and get the loan. After getting the loan, she forgot all about it. She used the money, traveled, bought this one, bought that one, do this one. She forgot, though. Meanwhile, banks are mandated by law for individuals, transactions 5 million and above that are coming to your account. They do those reports to EFCC, to tax authorities, to CBN. It is there. Some things that are just coming out in the news, they are doing it as if those things are new. They have always been there. So of course, all of these reports were shared to all of these organizations that always get those information. And the tax authority waited. If this business owner got 5 million naira or whatever as a loan for her business, we expect that at the end of that means she has commenced operation, because as at that time she had never used that company. That means she has commenced operation. And so they waited. They waited for her to file returns the first year. They waited the next year. They kept waiting. She's supposed to file returns. Okay, that 5 million naira I got. Okay, this was I bought goods. I bought goods for 4.4 million. I paid transport. I did a carriage way bill or what I view. I paid rent. I paid NEPA bill. all the expenses she incurred because she's a business. She ought to have done that filing and given it to the tax authority, but she didn't do it. Then she can now say, okay, it is I made a loss. Okay, I made a loss. So if it was a loss that you made, no problem. But you have filed, then you would have nothing to pay. But she did none of those things. And for that reason, the tax authority, there were penalties building up for her, building and building and building up. Finally, they saw that this taxpayer is not coming forward. And so they wrote her a letter. That was the letter she was crying all about. So that is exactly what happens. Some of us, it is not about the narration that you're doing the transaction. It is about those things you don't know that they had tax implications. There are things we do as individuals, as business owners, that we don't know have tax implications. And these are some of the things I'll be guiding people to know and to guard against and to be better prepared as we go forward. So this is so fun. So real tax readiness goes beyond explanation. If you're saying I will explain when they ask, when they come, you have already faulted. Something is wrong with you. In the real world, what they do, your patterns, your substance over form, what really happened? What is showing in your account? What does it seem like? Okay. So the tax system is like that. So digital record keeping, very, very important. In this new system, this new dispensation, you should keep records. Keep sufficient records. There are some minimum records to keep, which I have talked about before. Yeah, I talked about some penalties. What are some penalties? Failure to file. I have been shouting file since. Just for your failure to file, there's a penalty. Failure to pay the tax, there's a penalty. Failure to deduct. If you're a company and you're supposed to deduct maybe VAT, you're supposed to deduct withholding tax from somebody, you did not, there's a penalty.
Okay. Mrs. Victoria may be having some technical issues, but be rest assured that she will join shortly. In the meantime, please, if you have any questions, kindly drop them in the chat box as we are taking them down. We are compiling them for our Q&A session. Okay, while Mrs. V attempts to join us again, I'll be sharing the link to our WhatsApp community on the group chat. Please, if you have not already joined, endeavor to do so, because we share a lot of tax updates for free on this group chats, on this community group chats, and we'll have a lot of similar webinars like this, and you will not want to miss it. So if you haven't already joined the community, please feel free to do so. Then we can start dropping our emails. Since we are approaching the end of the call, we can start dropping our emails so that a certificate of attendance will be sent to you. Yes. Please, let's keep the questions coming. We are noting them down. Yes, ma'am, we can hear you. We can hear you now.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Okay. But you cannot see my slides yet.
No, we can't see your slides yet.
I want to ask a question.
Okay.
Please, can you kindly just put it in the chat box?
For now, we are
I
even
haven't
trying to just
Yes,
go
I've done
as
so.
far as
I've done
possible.
so.
Okay, so hold on. We'll soon get to questions.
Thank you. But you can still go ahead and drop the chat box. We are compiling them. We'll try and take as many questions as we can.
Let me try to join again.
Like I said, if you've not joined our WhatsApp community, please do so. Let me put the link for that now to join our WhatsApp community. Please, the link to join our WhatsApp community has been sent. If you're not there, you're seriously missing out. And like I said, you can start dropping your email addresses so that you get the certificate of attendance. We can keep the questions coming in the inbox. We are compiling them to take them after the session. We'll take as many questions as we can. If you haven't joined the WhatsApp community, please endeavor to do so. Let's keep the questions coming, keep the emails coming so that you receive your certificate of attendance at the end of the call. I'm going to post the link to our WhatsApp community again. Please, if you are not on the community, you are seriously missing out. I'm sure we have all gained so much from this webinar. This is information that people typically pay for. I paid for something like this last year, but we are getting it free of charge in this meeting. Isn't that wonderful? So we share many other exciting things on the group chats. So please feel free to join our WhatsApp community. I just posted the link again. And like I said, if you've not dropped your email, we won't be able to send you a certificate of attendance to confirm that you attended this meeting. Our slides are back up. Are you ready to go?
Yes, I'm ready to go. Thank you.
Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you. So sorry. Technical issues. I'm a proud Nigerian. All right. So I was talking about penalties. I hope you have taken a snapshot of this because this is, I just took this once because it affects individuals, but there are a lot more. Okay, late filing, 2% plus daily interest. Do you see? So maybe you were supposed to pay tax at 0%, but because you did not file, you now have hundreds of thousands waiting for you, or even millions. False return. The tax authority, they are trusting you to do the right thing, but you now deliberately do the wrong thing. And then they find out later, even if it is years later. I told you they can go back as long as they want to do it. So just do the right thing. I hope you would have taken the snapshots so that we can go on. So from clarity to, by now you should have understood how tax really works. So the next thing is to know how to apply it safely. Clarity is not the same thing as protection. With what you have learned so far, you will do way better than somebody who does not even understand their left from the right as far as this thing is concerned, who is peddling all the viral posts all over the place. So you need a structure to be able to do those things because most tax shocks, they happen later. You don't know, at the time you're doing it, you don't know, but you're supposed to know that everything you do has a tax implication. Get shocked because income is not properly mapped, because they don't know that they are creating a pattern with what is happening on a day-to-day basis with their income. They don't know, because they don't know that they don't have documentation to back up the things that they are doing. Maybe you actually incurred an expense, but you don't have a receipt. Somebody deducted withholding income from you, and you did not collect the receipt like I have just told you to. You did not process the withholding credit notes. You did not. So documentation. And then you think filing is readiness. You can file, but because you did the wrong thing, you'll still be liable to penalties because there are things you left out. So tax authorities focus on behavior, patterns, and consistency. This is so important. So, but what's the solution to all of this? How do you navigate? And by the way, I forgot to mention, because of all the interruptions and all the distractions concerning this tax law, so that is why they are yet to release some guidelines. As at this week, Mr. Tayo Oyedele of the Fiscal Committee chairman, said they have over 40 guidelines waiting to be released. So tell me, will you leave what you're doing to come and join me to be reviewing guidelines? No. So that is the reason why I put this together. The solution that I put together is the tax readiness and income retention framework. I am concerned about retaining as much income as I should. For instance, as a consultant, these exemptions I have been reading for you that the average taxpayer is subject to get. As consultants, we are not getting any. We are not. The 250 million or 100 million exemption for a company, if I like, let me go and register my own as limited squared, I am still not entitled to it. So therefore, it therefore means that if you're a consultant on this call, a consultant, then you should know that you need to know your left from your right. You need to know how to structure things. You need to know how to ensure that you retain as much of your income as possible, because it is your income. And then pay the government their due, but not more than their due. Simply because don't go and dash them money simply because you don't know what to do. So I have put together a structured system designed to help you pay what is due. The same way that I had put together this Nigerian taxation workbook. Okay, I put it together. As soon as I started writing it every night, as soon as the tax law was gazetted, because I could see ahead that the average taxpayer, the average individual, the average will not know what they are saying, and there will be no time to explain well enough for things to kick in. And so I put this book together. It explains in very simple terms what you should do, what you should know, and what you should and how to navigate some things. And I paid special attention because the tax authority is paying special attention to the digital space. So I paid special attention to the digital space. And I think the tax law, promotes agriculture and export business. So therefore, I also paid real good attention to that sector, so that the average taxpayer, the average Nigerian, can, without going to read the tax law, get himself up to speed simply by going through this other small volume. The link for this can also be shared. Team, please get this link and also share for them. We can get it on Seller. You can, if you're in Lagos or Port Harcourt or Abuja, make sure you join the WhatsApp group so that we can let you know where you can get it physically. Very, very important. For the tax readiness and income retention framework, this is a structured system to help you pay only what is legally due. Retain as much of your income as possible. Avoid unnecessary penalties, interest, and stress by knowing how to structure your day-to-day, transactions. Know what to do and how to do it. So what is it? It is practical. It is exactly what we're going through. It is built from real cases. We will look at it. We will be looking at your own case study, your own situation. What are you going through? Okay, we focus on interpretation and enforcement. I've been privileged to be the lead tax audit teams, okay, all over the place, all over the country. So I understand what I'm talking about. It is not about tax evasion, though. I am not going, in fact, you will not even come, you cannot even see it where I am. I'm not going to show you how to dodge things because I've told you that things are linked, so it is not here, not on my watch. I'm not going to share any shortcuts. I'm not going to share any viral tips. I am going to show you what you can do legally within the confines of the law to optimize your income and pay as what you're supposed to pay. It's for you if you're an SME owner, business operator, a lawyer, an accountant, a consultant, a salary earner, a digital or remote worker, or a diaspora Nigerian, okay? If you want clarity, you want protection, this is for you. What I have covered so far, I have not gone halfway of what is in the tax laws as it concerns us and how you need to do things, okay? That is for you to see that there's still a lot left to recover. I've not even talked of the guidelines that are coming on the way. Why does structure save money? Because major tax issues come from misunderstanding, ignorance, poor structure, or late reactions to things, okay? Prevention is always cheaper. Beyond the framework I am putting together and the guidance I am taking you by hand, I'm going to also be doing tax promax walkthroughs and live demo sessions. And this is very, very important. I put this one because a lot of you requested for it when you were filling our forms. Of course, this 1 hour, 30 minutes cannot do it for us. I'll be doing the paying computation that I have just shared with you now. That's just brief. We'll now be doing, give you a template where what if you have 20 employees? What if you have 100? What if even if you have 3 or 4 or 5? Okay, are you saying you'll be doing that for them? What if you now change salary? You now do it again? No, I'll give you a template that has already been customized with, for you to be able to just input the salary and all of this is calculated. So income exposure mapping, classification, documentation checklist, what you need to do, what you need to look at. Scenario packs for SMEs, for professionals, we will look at it together. Professional collaboration playbook, very, very important. For instance, tax is law. There's a lot the lawyer has to do. There are situations where the lawyer has to represent you, at the tax appeal tribunals and what have you. There are so many things. The accountants have to help you to put your records together. The tax professional also has to help you to compute the tax. Your accounting profit is different from your taxable profits. Do you see? So there has to be collaboration among all of these persons. Semi-check one-on-one review. Right now, you can go to my website, www.myname, as you see it on the screen, victoriaokokon.com. You can click, book a consultation, you key in, answer some of the questions that are there, and then you come to me one-on-one, and I'll be able to review review your organization and give you guidelines. Diaspora tax footprint, all of that, you can do that. SME check, tax and money clarity sessions for individuals. You can also book a clarity session through my website. CAM compliance to skin. Some people just like running up and down. And what is your investment? Just 80,000 naira. One tax issue. I told you of that woman that was running helter-skelter. She already had a 700,000 tax liability penalty waiting for her. Just one liability can knock you out. So what's your getting? In fact, just one clarity session or one consultation or one review for one organization, definitely you cannot pay me this. We take a percentage and then we charge you for all the processes. So this is a one-time access for the whole of this tax cycle designed to save you far more than what it costs. So one wrong interpretation can cost millions. One audit can take years of peace. One penalty can wipe out your entire profits. So this framework helps you avoid all of these outcomes. Join if you want to. Stop guessing. If you want to stop guessing, if you want to stop overpaying, if you want to stop being caught off guard, if you want to make calm, defensible decisions, this is your cue. The link to join is right now being shared on the site, on the chats by my team. Take your time, join only if it resonates with you. That is the thing about tax matters. You don't beg clients because it is law. It is something all of us must do. We all belong to associations. We all belong to communities where we have to contribute our quota. And this one is backed by the law. If you fail to do, there's a penalty. And the penalty is not, you cannot justify or wiggle yourself out of it. So why not place yourself optimally in such a way that nobody can take you for a ride? This is about peace of mind. That doesn't have to be frightening. It doesn't have to be stressful if you know what to do. It must be understood. It must be structured. So what is your action plan? What action plan are you taking, as we leave this call? You assess yourself, conduct a self-audit, take remedial action, register and regularize, organize your records, comply and systematize. I've told you to register, regularize, organize your records. If you're not keeping records, thank God we're holding this in January. I've told you from everything you're going to do from January to December, you will account for it by next year. So begin to put those things in place. That's part of the things I'm going to be guiding those who are in the framework on some of basic record keeping, depending on your kind of business. And then recommend some tools if it is not something, if it's beyond what we can offer. Very, very important. Q&A, I'm now ready for you. So let's begin to have that Q&A. Thank you so much for listening. I kept the time. Thank you so much. I said 9:30, and if you add the time that we attention, I'm really, really proud of each and every one of you that showed up for this call, and as many of you that I'll be seeing on the inside who will take advantage of the framework. Can I have the questions now? Moderator, please.
Yes, we've been compiling a list of questions. So let me start with the first question that was asked. If you own, example, Von Professionals Limited, and in a year your sales are 99 million and assets are 80 million naira, will you pay company income tax? Let me come again. If you own, for example, Von Professionals Limited, and in a year your sales are 99 million naira and assets are 80 million naira, will you pay company income tax?
All right. Let me recap the laws. If you remember the laws that I said if your income, there are two things. There are two parameters, and you must be able to satisfy those two parameters. One, your turnover must be less than or equal to 100 million, not more than 100 million. That's your turnover, your sales. Then your assets must not be more than 250 million as well. So in this case now, the asset is 80 million, the turnover 99 million, but already you're operating at a borderline. So for you, the tax authority will even be looking at you with corner eye, because if for any reason there's something you were supposed to classify as sales and then you didn't to hit the 100 million, then you're already operating on the borderline. So just be sure that you can back up 99 million. You're still within the threshold. You don't have a problem. But as soon as you cross the threshold, as soon as 100 million, 0.5 kobo, you are no longer a small company. So take notes and ensure that you are watching the numbers. Once you cross the 80, as far as I'm concerned, once you cross the 80 million naira band, begin to watch your books like a hook, like a hawk rather, and ensure that you know when you cross the 100 million mark. Because as soon as you cross that is supposed to flow in, that is no longer small company status, but now a big company status, begin to flow. That is exactly what happened. That is exactly the situation. So take the next question quickly. If there are questions that look like together, like the same thing, take them together.
Okay, ma. Please, what if one already has a tax ID? I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me? It's delaying. Can you hear me now? Please, if you're on the call, let me know if you can hear me. Participants on the call, please let me know if you can hear me in the chat box. Okay.
Yes, we
Ma,
can
can
hear
you hear me
you.
now? Okay. Mrs. Victoria, can you hear me now? Seems like she has left the call. I'm sure she will join shortly. She may be facing some technical issues. I'm still taking the questions. I saw some questions in the chat box asking how much is the price of the book. Book is 10,000 naira. The 80,000 naira is for the framework, and opportunity for one-on-one consultation and specialized sessions with her. But the 10,000 naira is for the book.
Will you go through the questions in our the question that we filled when we are filling the form?
Okay, no problem. But I have to attend to the questions that were sent to the chat room first. I hope you don't mind. Maybe by the time we are done, you may have it, your question may already have been answered. You can also just send it to the chat box as well. But we noted those questions down. Mrs. V, can I read the next question? Are you there?
Please.
Okay. Please, what if someone already has a tax ID before now? Do we need to retrieve the one that we generated with our NIN? Please, what if someone already has a tax ID before now? Do we need to retrieve the one generated with NIN?
Yes, you need to get the ones generated with the NIN. What the tax authority is saying is that they want to harmonize the tax ID such that it will be uniform across the country. What used to happen before was that Lagos State had their own team, River State had their own team, every state had their own team. Then there was also a JTB team. I'm talking of individuals now. You know, everybody had their own team and all of that. So they're now saying, no, let's use a uniform tax ID so that no matter the state where you are, we just know it is you. Okay, so that's the situation now. Then if you're a company, I'll still advise that you revalidate the TIN. Okay, revalidate the TIN. It may remain the same or it may change, but just revalidate and be sure that you're on the same page.
Still on the same TIN issue. What of someone in diaspora who doesn't have a telephone and NIN in Nigeria?
Then in that case, I think there should be provision where the embassy or something. I think at the time when it was being registered, there were things that were being done at that time. So now we would need to take up that kind of person should like send me a message to that effect. I can now follow up. I can now follow up with the tax authorities to know what will apply in that circumstance, because ideally, only those who have NIN already have a tax ID allocated to them. So if you don't have NIN, that means you need to get an NIN in order for you to get a tax ID. It's really, really important.
Okay. Social media handles are on the chat box, so you can connect with her on any of the social media handles if you want to reach out to ask a question, or you can even join the WhatsApp community which she's on. The next question, can you quickly clear this? VAT is meant to be charged by a company that earns a minimum threshold of 100 million. Then I can know if I am to charge until it reaches a year. How will I go about it now? Do I need to charge or just leave it since I don't know yet if I will make up to 100 million or not?
Okay.
Was that question?
Okay. It's clear. Don't worry. It's clear. So I've already explained it. I said if you're a company and then you earn your turnover is less than 100 million naira, you're not supposed to charge VAT. Even if you incur VAT for maybe you sell goods and products that are VATable, and then when you go to buy, they charge you VAT. You're not supposed to charge VAT, but you can voluntarily decide to charge VAT. In that instance, you don't have to voluntarily go and register and say, oh, I am below 100 million, but I incur a lot of VAT in my own purchases. I want to be able to recover it. You know, this is the situation. Because you're supposed to pay tax at 0% as a company below 100 million naira. So they cannot also allow you to charge VAT, because VAT, you recover it if you charge it. Okay, you charge when you go, that's your input VAT. You charge when you go to buy, that's an input VAT. Okay, now when you sell and you charge again, that's output VAT. That one that you're charging people that you're selling to, now you use it to net off with the ones that you were charged. So it is the difference that you're supposed to pay to the government. Not because you're below 100 million. The law is saying, no, you cannot benefit and pay 0% tax and now benefit again by recovering VAT. So
Hello, please. Can you hear me? Just can you hear me? Okay. The network issue.
network issue. Oh,
No problem.
okay, okay.
We can hear you, ma.
Okay. It's connected to the iPhone. Don't worry.
Okay.
All right. So, but did you? Yeah, I've answered that question on that. So that should be that for now.
Okay. As an employer, can I remit my employees' pay at the end of the year instead of the month?
No. Employees is every month.
Pay as you earn. If you
Yes.
newly registered, let me go ahead. Next question. If you newly registered a company in December 2025, do you still have to file by March 31st, which is not a full year of operation?
No. You have 18 months, but by next year you don't have to be 18. You don't have to wait till the 18 months. On or before, yeah, it's still 18 months. On or before June of next year, you should file. So that's just the situation. By June next year, it would have been 18 months thereabouts. So you should file. And please note that not only tax that needs filing, tax authorities, you also need to file with the CAC. Okay, please, companies that are here, enterprises that are here, ensure that you file with the CAC every year as well.
Okay. I recently changed my school from business name registration to limited liability. We have been paying payee and director's tax and filing our returns over the year. Now that we are a limited liability company, will there be any changes to the kind of tax we pay? As an employer, can I? No, that's one question. Yes. Please let me know if I should take that again.
Take it again.
I recently changed my school from business name registration to limited liability. We have been paying payee and director's tax and filing our returns over the year. Now we are a limited liability company. Will there be any changes to the kind of tax that we pay?
Okay. Yes, there'll be changes. I've been explaining small company paying 0% over and over again. So now, as a small company, you're not paying. You're not if you're operating below 0%. Sorry, below the amount I have stated, 250 million and 100 million, 250 million assets and 100 million turnover, then of course you're supposed to pay tax at 0%. So that's just it. You no longer, unlike enterprise, you're not supposed to. The tax is charged along with what you were doing. So yes, that is the difference now. But that is not to say that everybody here that is hearing me say that I should go around and go and change from enterprise to limited liability. No, it's case dependent, whether it's a benefit, depending on the kind of business that you're doing. You know, there are some of you who are doing businesses that the turnover is high. but the profit margin is low. If the turnover is already high, your profit is 2 naira or 100 million or 2 million, you will still be taxable at the tax rate of 25-30% that is taxed by big companies. If your turnover is, let me give an example so that you get me. Say, for instance, you are a distributor for Coca-Cola, or you are a distributor for Indomie, and all of that. Turnover is high. Just one pickup load or a truckload of drinks, where your profit is just maybe 5 naira on top of what you're buying. Okay, fast-moving consumer goods. Those small profit, but the turnover, that truckload is what 20, 30, 40, 50 million. That means by the time you sell 2 truckloads in 1 month or 2 months, before the 6th month, you have hit 100 million. If you sell things like phones, for instance, you sell phones. How much is one phone? How much is one iPhone? Before you sell 10, 20, 30 pieces, you have hit 100 million. So you have to think well before you now say you're changing from enterprise to limited liability. Yes, you get 0% from limited liability, but remember that you can hit the 100 million very fast. And as soon the minute you hit 100 million, you're no longer a small company. You are now treated as a large company. And an FIRS will come visiting you immediately. Can you still hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Please, it will do you well to connect with us on our social media platforms, because majority of these questions have been answered by her online. So when you connect with us, you get to see these videos. So to carry on with the question, the next question we have: how can someone who stays in Nigeria but earns income from teaching students in the diaspora via online platform navigate payment of tax?
Beautiful. That's a very good question. So we addressed diaspora Nigerians, we did not address Nigerians who are earning income abroad. Okay, good. Number one, the platforms that you get money from, all of them make reports to Nigerian tax authorities. All the Payoneer, the PayPal, yeah, Wise, all of them, they are mandated by law to make returns. They make reports to Nigerian authorities. I saw one YouTuber saying, "I'll show you where to keep your money when you earn your money abroad. I'll show you one country where you put your money. No wahala, put it there." The law still remains. The all income for anyone that is resident in Nigeria, the tax is payable in Nigeria. Now, if you happen to earn income abroad and then you decide to keep it abroad without paying, don't forget, like I said, there's also cooperation between countries sharing data about their citizens. So, for instance, America will share data about Nigerian citizens that's in their country. The same thing, Nigeria will do the same, and all of that. There's cooperation, because this thing is not the same way it's affecting Nigeria, it's the same way it's affecting other countries. So, therefore, all of them wisened up and said the best way is for all of us to cooperate and be helping each other. So that is what is happening. So now, you now earn income abroad. You, by yourself, are supposed to declare and file it in Nigeria at the end of the period. So, but for you, I would advise, put it into a vehicle. By vehicle, I mean put it into a business structure. Put it into a business structure. Is this a limited liability structure, business enterprise structure, so that you can charge it like a business income, okay? Even if you have you're earning money on your YouTube channel, do the same, put it into a business structure so that you can charge all your expenses, with peace of mind. Do that. Then, that's not all. Apart from the fact that the money is in abroad, the monies that you earn abroad, you put all of them together. If for any reason, those monies, taxes were taken on it where they were, no problem. Ensure that you regularize and get the receipts of those taxes, not just the whatever is debited. Get the backup documents that to show that taxes were debited for against you in one other country. Put them all together and then come them all together, and then you're liable to get what we call a double taxation relief. Okay, so you need to know, it's also, I did that calculation in this book. We have countries where Nigeria has double taxation agreements with. So, for instance, we have with I think South Africa, for instance. So, if you were taxed in South Africa and then you're taxed in Nigeria, we'll look at all of them and then you will do a release so that you're not taxed twice. You're not taxed there and taxed here. We'll do that and give you a relief, and then you pay less. But if that country doesn't have a double taxation agreement between both countries, you will still get a relief, but it will not be as much as the relief you would have gotten if it was with a country that we had an agreement with. So these are the ways it affects you as somebody who is earning income outside the country. Okay, so there are a lot of things. Like I said, it's not something we can cover here, but we'll try as much as possible. And moderator, we're supposed to be rounding up on or before 10 o'clock. We said 9:30 is few minutes to 10.
We still have a couple of questions, but I don't think we'll be able to take them, will we?
So let them join the group and I'll answer them.
But I think we should take one question on the call. Someone has had their hand up. Yes, Mr.
Okay,
go ahead.
Let's take it.
Sorry, I want to quickly clear. I was one that asked a question that concerned the based on the VAT payment.
Okay.
VAT tax payment. So what the question is all about is not what you actually answered. What I said is, if I need to pay VAT now, I may not know if I need to pay at the end of the year because I've not realized the income, the revenue already. So now I'm just operating a company where I don't know if my revenue will reach a threshold, a minimum threshold of 100 million. I don't know yet. So I know that the activities or the transaction that I'm into, they are taxable items. So VAT, they are fatable items, which the VAT needs to be charged upon. But I don't know if I'm going to realize 100 million at the end of the year. So I was not asking that, how will I do this now in order to justify or to balance both things together? Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so the difference is still not much with what I answered. That's why you're keeping records. You're supposed to, are you the accountant?
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. So if you're the accountant, it makes it even easier. So if you're the accountant, you're supposed to be doing, you'll be doing reconciliations. As soon as you hit 100 million naira, your status has changed forever. If you have not hit 100 million naira right now, no problem. You can be operating the way you're operating. But as soon as you hit 100 million naira, so you're supposed to be monitoring. If you know you're already close, then you're supposed to be monitoring on a daily basis if necessary. Monitor it on a daily basis. As soon as you hit that day, you're supposed to document it and so that you can be able to prove to the tax authority, this is when I hit 100 million naira, and I immediately began to do the needful. So that is very, very important for you to take note of. So it just simply means you need to monitor it. All right, moderator.
Okay, I think those are all the questions we'll be able to take. It's almost 10 o'clock.
All right.
We have more questions in the chat box. We have noted them down and they will be answered on our WhatsApp community. The link is on the chat box. Please join our WhatsApp community. We answer questions there often and share more information. Also, if you've not followed us on our social media platforms, please do so. I sent the chat here for websites, our website, the link to our website, our YouTube. The replay is going to be made available on the YouTube. This session is being recorded. We are streaming live on YouTube as well, so you can watch it on YouTube. We are on Facebook, we are on TikTok. So please, some of the questions we asked here are actually being answered on her, but on her page. So you can check her page and see some videos that we have on there. So answer most of the questions I'm seeing here. But you can still go ahead and join the WhatsApp community where we will still answer your questions. For everyone that sent an email, please, you will receive your certificate of attendance And if you haven't sent your email, you will not be receiving a certificate of attendance. So thank you so much to everyone for joining the call. Please, before we leave, take a screenshot and tag us on your social media handles. Take a screenshot of this call, tag us on your social media handles, leave a review, let us know if this session was impactful, and encourage your friends and family members to also join our community. Thank you very much. Mrs. V.
Yeah, thank you very much. So you are a host now. You can end the call.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone, and thank you for joining.
And thank you. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Konita.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
ma.
you.
Wonderful. This is very wonderful, very exciting.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank you.
Good night, ma. Thank you so much. Very impactful.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.